Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club. I am Brandon, and joining me today, I have Ills.
I don't want any trouble.
And I got Noah.
Oh, the humanity.
So, guys, I just ordered sushi from Japan, and we played a game starring Jackie Chan.
Whoa.
Stuntmaster.
Jackie Chan Stuntmaster was released on the PlayStation 1 back in March 29th, 2000, the start of a brand new decade, which we're about to roll into here. Was also released in Europe in 2000. At some point, there is no date. Just came out. And it was developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Midway. What happened? What happened to Midway, man? They must have got bought or something. I haven't heard about them in forever.
Yeah, they used to be on, especially like with PlayStation, they had a lot of games.
They did. They're a big arcade company back in the day.
I just remember them from NBA Jam games.
Yeah.
I wish NBA Jam would come back.
Same. I don't know if it would be the same, but definitely same. Well, I mean, they were behind Mortal Kombat too back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Midway might have become Warner Brothers, if I'm remembering
Was that
correctly.
Midway or Acclaim? Fuck. I don't know now.
Anyway,
Whatever.
Radical Entertainment, the studio that developed this game, you might know them for either Prototype or Prototype 2 or The Simpsons Hit and Run, I would say are the biggest games that they developed. So they're not...
Certainly not this one.
Certainly not this one. Now, I would say Radical Entertainment, not necessarily a household name. You're not going to hear about them all the time, but at some point in the year 2000, they decided we're going to make a game of starring Jackie Chan.
Who is a household name?
Who I hope is a household name. I hope, I don't know Jackie. So Jackie Chan, if you don't know him much, like I said, I hope you do. Is a movie star,
Action movie star,
to be particular, and one of the I would say the biggest, kung fu action movie stars like of all time. Him and Bruce Lee, the two. Like, they're the one and two.
Well, yeah, Bruce Lee was more of a legitimate martial artist. He was an action movie star, martial artist. It was really cool.
And as the video game...
You saying Jackie Chan is not a legitimate martial artist? What the fuck?
He definitely is. I mean, come on, he is.
Probably, yeah.
He definitely is.
Train Hapkido, come on.
But Jackie Chan's style differs a little bit from Bruce Lee, right? Because
very.
Bruce Lee is more serious fighting, and Jackie Chan is he's a more comedic style in his fighting.
Well, in his earlier movies, he was more serious. It was very much
that's a good point, actually. Yeah,
martial arts focused. It's only later on where it became like kind of a comedy part of it. You know?
He's extremely good at comedic timing when it comes to fighting.
Yeah,
and in Jackie Chan, one of the biggest things about that guy is that he does his own stunts. Hence, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, I guess.
Absolutely.
So
and
that's one of the things that I love about his movies and stuff is that he always was his own stuntman. He used to always get hurt and shit, but he was always down to do it.
Yeah,
cool.
He got seriously hurt like a few times during doing his own stunts. He's crazy, but a lot of respect to him for
respect.
that.
Yeah, he always bounces back, and he
Somehow.
did it for a long time too, right? Because Jackie Chan now, now that we're recording this here in the end of 2019, he's 65 years old. And I remember Jackie Chan, coming out with movies in his 40s and still just doing crazy stunts.
Yeah.
And he has a filmography that is just a list.
There's been so many movies.
He's been in an insane number of movies. So I'm sure, if you watch movies at all, you've probably seen Jackie Chan in something. Even if you don't recognize the name, which to me is insanity if you don't, but I'm sure
Or heard his
people out
voice
there.
in like Kung Fu Panda or something.
Yeah, because he does voice acting too.
Yeah.
The man's a legend. He's one of the sweetest, nicest dudes too that you've ever met. Like, if you ever seen interviews with him, or just most of his films right at the end have like a blooper reel, and you can just tell he's got this energy around him that he's just fun to be around. He's always laughing, and he's great. I love Jackie Chan, I really do. So before we talk about the game, Noah, you picked this game, so I gotta ask you why you picked this game.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, like I really love the Jackie Chan. Like my brother had like a whole case of DVDs and movies and stuff of him. So as a child growing up, I was just watching movie after movie after movie. He quickly became like my favorite action star. And when my brother got the PlayStation and everything, this was one of the games he had, and I absolutely loved it. But I was a kid, so I didn't know how to play games, so I never finished it. I couldn't get past the first world, so I wanted to go back and play it.
And get your revenge.
Well, we did, and I'm gonna ask you guys too. One more thing before we really get into the game. And this is something we almost never talk about here, obviously, on this podcast because we're a game club. But I want to ask you guys what your favorite Jackie Chan movie is, because
Damn it.
we're talking about Jackie Chan. We gotta ask.
Ooh, probably it's a toss-up between one of the Rush Hour movies, or
Cop out. Cop out. Cop out. This is a cop out answer.
Rush Hour. I mean, I love Rush Hour, so that's even though it's probably his most famous movie, that's a respectable answer.
But I also like Drunken Master.
Okay. Less of a cop out answer.
What about you? What about you, Els?
Fucking Kung Fu Panda, the ultimate cop out answer. I love Kung Fu Panda.
See, I would normally say Rush Hour because I'm a sucker for buddy cop movies. But I'm also a big fan of the Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights movies.
Yeah,
I thought those were really funny. And I don't know if you guys ever saw this movie, but I thought this was pretty funny too. The Tuxedo.
I saw the Tuxedo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Tuxedo.
Yeah, I like that movie too. Those are more of his American movies. I mean, that's how we really got into him, right? Because he did like a shitload of movies in China.
Tons.
Yeah, but his American movies, I'd say like in the late '90s, early 2000s, he just became really popular in America cinema. But yeah, Van's been in a lot of movies. I would say definitely check some out. They're funny. There's a lot of cool action, and we said that he makes fun of like fighting, not making fun of it, but makes light of it. Like he uses props in just really cool ways in his fights, and just really
he's like he always uses the environment to fight with, and it's just like always has some good comedic effect, which is very entertaining.
Yeah. Which him using the environment and stuff to fight kind of translated over into the game itself, right? Because the game, there's props and stuff that you pick up and weapons that you use throughout the game. I guess
they kind of suck, but yeah.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but yeah.
Each prop does have its own like moveset, kind of like, well, not moveset, but like different animations, the way you use it. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So now before we talk about the gameplay, I want to just do recommendations. And Noah, you picked the game, so we'll start with you. Would you recommend playing Jackie Chan Stuntmaster?
If you're a fan of Jackie Chan, I'd recommend it because it's like very faithful to what it feels like to watch Jackie Chan movies in a way, except for like maybe the heavy platform. But even then, like the platforming kind of fits in. So yeah, if you're a fan of him, I'd say that this is worth a play through at least, or at least to try it. Maybe not to finish it, but yeah, probably have a good time.
Ilse?
I'd say skip this game. I didn't really enjoy it very much. Like you said, the platforming comes in and it gets pretty heavy on the platforming. Like it becomes like the ratio from platforming to fighting is overly skewed in the platforming direction by the end of the game. It's kind of ridiculous. And I mean, some of the animations are charming, especially in the cutscenes. Like it's one of those things where it's like so good it's bad, or so bad it's good. But skip.
For me personally, I would say I wouldn't recommend. This game wouldn't be a good game that I'd recommend as a whole, because it not that it's bad, because it's not. No, like this game isn't coherently bad, but it's also not great. Like, it's just somewhere in the middle where it's a game that exists and doesn't do anything to set itself apart, but also just doesn't do anything so bad that, that it gets talked about because it's terrible. It's just like, it's just there. It doesn't do anything offensive. It's just like, it's a happy medium to me, but it's not anything that I would go out of the way to suggest someone to play,
Yeah, I just think of it as kind of bland, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I guess we'll get into talking about the gameplay, because the game is a beat 'em up. So you play as Jackie Chan, and the game starts off. Jackie's grandfather gets kidnapped by a bunch of thugs, and he has to go get him back. And that's really the story.
And he's a package delivery guy.
Delivery boy.
Not a stuntmaster, obviously. Well,
right.
Not obviously. Apparently, he should be a stuntmaster, but he's not.
And the game takes place in New York City.
Yeah.
You go
kind of
through,
surprising to see the Twin Towers every loading screen.
You go through a few different. Now, there's like I don't remember how many levels there is. There's 5 worlds, right? With 3 levels
15.
each. So 15 levels.
So yeah, 3 levels each world.
Yeah, and so it's a 3D beat 'em up. At a time where I think 3D beat 'em ups there wasn't a lot of them back then. Like 2D beat 'em ups were everywhere. 3D beat 'em ups there wasn't a ton. I feel like.
Well,
there's more.
This is the era. This is the transition era.
Yeah.
Getting into 3D, and I guess they wanted to bring beat 'em ups into the 3D era, but god damn, it was rough around the edges when they did this one.
And at first, 3D beat 'em ups were really bad when they first started to make them. I would say this one. I will give some. You definitely gotta give some credit to this game. I would say, like you mentioned with your recommendation, like in terms of animations. Because I read that they did full motion suit capture, like for Jackie on a lot of the movesets, and honestly, it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the animations are surprisingly fluid, and I think they did a good job of taking full use of their star.
Yeah, and the game has it has a unique art direction. Where it's not realistic looking. It's very cartoony, and blocky almost. Because it's PlayStation 1, so it kind of it has a different art direction than you would expect. They don't go for realism at all with this game.
He almost looks like a Minecraft character.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. So they don't. But now, at first, I was a little off-put by it. I thought it was like, I was like, I don't know, this is weird. But then as I played it, I thought that it fit better than if it did look realistic. Especially with Jackie's mannerisms and that he kind of jokes around through the game, and I just thought that it worked out better than it would have if they tried to make it real.
Yeah, there's something charming about how bad the faces look in this game. It's just like like it's just fun to look at. It's funny. Yeah,
it's almost like it's weird. It's almost like a GIF of a face was like imposed on these bodies.
Yeah, they articulate way more than you think they would. But
yeah, and when you're fighting as Jackie, the animations, like with like the reversals, especially and the special moves and stuff, like look really good.
Yeah, I mean, he has a surprisingly varied moveset. He can do like his basic attacks, his basic punch combo, kick combo. You do like sweeps if you turn while you're doing a kick. You could do counters. You could do grabs. It's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, like as a kid, I only knew punch and kick. That's probably why I got stuck in the very beginning. So now that once I replayed this and realized that there's like reversals and shit, I was like, oh.
The reversals were honestly very helpful.
Yeah.
To a
the
point.
Charge attacks and like the fucking dodge and stun punch. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I found myself kicking a lot because kicking seemed to knock back people, and it would.
It had the most range.
Yeah, it did. Had a lot of rage, and it also knocked a lot of people off of levels.
Yeah.
So, in between me falling off levels, I was knocking other people off levels.
Yeah.
So
Fucking oh man, the instant death pits, the worst part of this game.
yeah, I agree absolutely. Because the game does try to. We mentioned that it mixes up. It has platforming in it, which is I think a pretty decent thing.
It's pretty decent until you get to like the 4th and 5th world.
Yeah, it just starts feeling like really samey. Like I feel like I just keep going.
They're repeating.
Through the
Yeah, they
thing.
definitely were repeating like segments.
Yeah.
For sure. Like especially in the factory part. It's like how many times have I been gone through this fucking conveyor section?
Yeah, it just felt like the same thing over and over again. Maybe they switched over like one little
Like
thing.
mirrored it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like they ran out of ideas, but needed to like pad it out. You know.
For no reason, because those levels were a lot longer than the beginning levels.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, they were. And I was bored at that point, you know. And I was becoming a little frustrated because sometimes the platforming. I mean, the platform it's not good. You know, it's not like the controls aren't like really tight or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. They didn't perfect it at all, and it's just kind of thrown together, and they added it in there.
They essentially want you to do 2D platforming in a 3D world, and you can, like, if you go up or down, you're gonna fuck up. That's it. Like, you have to make sure you're going in a straight line, otherwise you're gonna fall off the stage. And you could fall off the stage in almost, like, 1,000 different ways.
Yeah, and even sometimes, I mean, I thought it was funny sometimes when it happened, but it would glitch out when you would try to land on, like, platforms, like, you know, like Jackie would start glitching and just like fall through a platform. And not very often, but it happened.
You
a couple
thought that
times.
was funny?
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
I fucking hated it.
But yeah, some of the sections were just like really hard all of a sudden too, like the fucking trains or the subway.
I liked those sections, but yeah, they were definitely.
I thought
They
it was super
dragged that
cool
out a
at
little
first.
bit. Yeah, that was really cool, but they dragged that out a little bit too much jumping there.
Yeah. At first I was like, whoa, all right, I like this. This is cool. And then they just kept doing it and kept doing it, and it just kept getting longer and more unforgiving too. Like if you missed the jump by like a second, the train was like too far ahead of you and you were falling and instantly dying.
Yeah. What a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Is the thing. I mean, I like the idea behind the level design, but like the strictness of it is a turnoff. Because I like that they tried a lot of things with, you know, the platforming and whatever, but
Right. I do too. I do too. It definitely, you know,
Yeah, like the whole
game.
thing, like going from rooftop to rooftop was pretty cool.
and they also implemented like wall jumping, but they barely used it. Like I wish they could
only
have used
very
that a
few
lot
segments. Well,
Yeah.
I was using it a lot to get to the secret areas.
Yeah, they used
in
it
the
to
beginning
get
when I cared
secrets.
for the secret collectibles. But then again, after like the 3rd and 4th world, I was like, had missed a bunch. I was like, fuck it, I don't need to collect these anymore.
more. Yeah.
And I stopped looking. But yeah, I was using the wall jump often in the beginning.
Because really the only use I found out of it was to just get collectibles. Be like,
Oh, you also had like some of Jackie Chan's moveset of hitting is just like bouncing off a wall and like kicking back and things like that.
yeah, you could do like a backflip off the wall, which is cool. Like run up it and backflip off of it, which is I never found it. It's a large amount of practical use.
I used
for
it a
but-
few times by accident. I was like, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah. I used it to kill myself at least twice.
Yeah, and that becomes an issue when you're fighting. Sometimes you're fighting enemies, and it just seems like you're a little slippery. Like you don't have like traction on the ground, and you just kind of slide around, especially when you're like doing combos and kicking. And you're like
It's just constantly
forward.
inching forward.
Yeah, and you're trying to knock an enemy off a level, and you get them real close, and you accidentally like knock yourself off. Doing like,
because you're in the
combo.
middle of a combo. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's annoying.
That happened to me a couple of times too.
Yeah, it's like I'm like just like that should not happen. Like that's really annoying that it happened. So, and the enemies range from their animations. First of all, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck are these? There's like guys near the end of the game that are like really tall, and they have just like they stand in like a b-boy stance, and they lean back, and I'm like, what is this animation?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to signal that they're only going to use kicks. Like, they're like a kicking stance.
Yeah,
That's what I thought of it as.
It's very weird. And then the enemies themselves are very suicidal because I saw throughout the game them just falling off the damn level themselves multiple times. They didn't seem too smart.
Yeah, I mean, the enemy AI was very erratic. I mean, like, sometimes they would just stand there and do nothing. And then other times they would just crowd around you and beat you to death. Like, and if more than one person is hitting you, you're done. You're done.
You get, like, juggle comboed right in between them, and there's no, like, downtime. Your health just is gone.
Yeah. It's crazy. It really sucks that there's no invincibility frames and there's no, like, real good ability for you to, get out of that situation.
Yeah, you don't get, like, stunned where you get a second to kind of, like, move back and catch yourself,
Yeah, whenever I, like, encountered more than 3 enemies at a time, I was just, like, fucking... Just use the charge attacks, like, a running attack with the half cartwheel kick or whatever it was with the kick combo.
Yeah.
Do that, knock at least 1 or 2 of them down. If one's still standing, I can punch combo him. By the time he gets knocked down, the other ones get up, and that
you have to separate them and try to have them fighting them one at a time.
The sucky thing about that is that sometimes they put you in situations where you have like this small like area to fight in, otherwise you're gonna fall off. Yeah. And you got like 3 people there, and I'm like, God damn it, I can't do anything.
Yeah, all you can do is hope that they either fall off on accident or you somehow knock them off the level.
Or they take a smoke break in the back and not hit you.
Yeah. Because it's ruthless because it's unfair, not because it's... I don't know if it's designed to be hard, because I don't feel like it is.
No, but I mean, they're in other beat 'em ups. They have ways around this problem. Like in a Streets of Rage game, you have like a power up attack that it takes some of your health, but it blasts everybody around you.
Yeah, it's true. Oh yeah, I'm surprised they didn't implement something like that.
Yeah,
it feels like a basic mechanic to have in a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like what you said, it's 3D beat 'em ups, or I guess they're still trying to figure out.
A lot of growing pains.
Yeah, definitely was. I mean, a lot of genres had growing pains moving into 3D.
Absolutely.
Every single genre, I feel like, did.
Just never mix tank controls with platforming. Never. Don't do it.
But survival horror is the only time I can see tank controls as a viable option in my head.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Did you guys have like issues like targeting enemies? Like I felt like it was like sometimes it was hard to judge the distance between them, and sometimes I was like kicking like to the right of them or just to the left of them. It was like kind of annoying.
I thought I was at some point, but then I realized they actually step back when you attack sometimes, so you just miss.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely parts where I would get close to a guy and I would just start mashing the attack button and I was punching and kicking air.
Yeah. But that's because they were backstepping, they were dodging.
No, it was more I just wasn't in the same plane as them in terms of like being lined up with them.
Yeah, I just think that's like one of those things, one of those problems that is part of the 3D perspective in this game. It's just like, fuck.
Yeah. That and your punches kind of feel short.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and that's one of the things with 3D action, beat 'em ups and stuff later on. It's almost like those games just kind of implement almost like a lock on. You can either lock on to enemies or has like a soft or auto lock on. When you start attacking, if you're in the vicinity of them, your character will just start attacking who is closest to them.
Yeah, that's the way you solve this problem.
Yeah, instead of you having to specifically line it up. Which becomes an issue. Not all the time, but once in a while you'll find yourself just being frustrated with it. Especially when there's a million guys around and you're like, oh cool, I'm punching air. I'm about to get punched in the dick like a million times. Yeah. It sucks.
But to be fair, the game does give you a lot of health pickups.
Yeah,
you can find a ton of them in the stages.
Yeah, it does, and you get a lot in the stage. Near the end of the game, I found myself like kind of being like, oh, I really need that next health pickup. But early on, it's like you don't even think about it. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And during the boss battles, there's like 5 or 6 everywhere. Like you can't even run.
Yeah, they're pretty generous with those.
Yeah. I was glad for that, especially during the last boss, because I did not want to do that last factory stage again.
Yeah.
I hated that factory.
And weirdly enough, though, the last boss, and I don't really think that we really need spoiler space for this game.
No.
You know, because
There's no story to this.
yeah. But the last boss was just like one of the easiest bosses in the game, if not like
The easiest boss in the game.
I think it's because of the table, and I exploited the shit out of that.
Standing on the desk thing.
Any boss that had like a elevated space, like a table or boxing ring or something, was like, for example, the chef, the clown, the last boss. I would like just jump onto it, and like that would force them to jump onto it. And as they were doing their jumping animation, I kicked them in the air. So I had no issue with any of the bosses that had like an elevated space.
I didn't even do that. He was still easy as hell.
Yeah, he was super. He was such a cakewalk.
Yeah, and like I think the guy that was the toughest was the second guy with the giant girder, just because he had the most range.
Really? I mean, I just avoided him. Once he started swinging, I just ran behind him and kicked the shit out of him.
He had the most range out of any boss, though. I'm not saying he was hard.
Yeah.
He just was the hardest out of all of them.
The hardest for me was the disco guy.
Really?
Well, yeah, it took me a while to figure out how he works. Because he was just dodging everything I was trying to throw at him. I just had to find the timing.
I would just hit him randomly.
That's strange. I think that one, they give you like the most health pickups. They give you like 6 or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it's
Crazy.
like I didn't really lose to him. I just had a hard time figuring out how he worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the bosses even themselves are like kind of uninspired.
Oh yeah.
They're not.
This is just generic well, not stereotypes.
You got a
but, like,
chef, a fucking construction worker, a boxer, a disco guy,
a clown boxer,
a clown boxer, and a disco
and a
guy.
mime as a partner.
Yeah. And then the last guy is just some random
Kung Fu master businessman.
Just some generic crap. Yeah. The last guy was just like, you don't even really see or hear anything about this guy until you meet him too. So it's just like so, anticlimactic. Who gives a shit? You know?
Do you even know why he wanted the package for the Shaolin Temple?
I had this Shaolin secrets, I guess.
Oh wow.
Guess so. And spoiler alert: Jackie drops it at the end of the game. Falls out of his truck. And I will say I liked at the end of the game how they gave the nod to the Jackie Chan movies and did like this like fake blooper reel.
Fake blooper reels, yeah. I love that too.
That was cool because that's always been such a cool part of Jackie Chan's movies, all the blooper reels that they put in at the end.
That's what I really enjoyed from this game was it felt like a very Jackie Chan game. Like the same way you would say for like a film. Like the whole game was based around him, obviously. It had like the blooper reel at the end of the game like it does in the movies. It had a lot of like in-game cutscenes where you would see Jackie Chan randomly fall, well not randomly, but he would fall through like a roof or a terrace and he would do that slow motion fall thing. It was like thing that he does a lot in movies too. And just like his fighting style was like very goofy, like he uses the props and stuff like that in funny ways. So it's like it felt really, what's the word I'm looking for? Fitting for a Jackie Chan game.
Yeah, there's one point where he gets like kind of dizzy and then starts pretending to do Drunken Master style.
Master, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that part was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Jackie obviously does the voice acting in the game for himself, and it's funny, Jackie's got classic, Jackie Chan things. I will say, very bad though, Jackie Chan. Why are you gonna fat shame people, huh? There's like a part where he's like, you look like you can lose some weight. I'm like, what the fuck, Jackie? And he's like, he's not even necessarily fighting fat people when he says that sometimes.
It's just big, burly guys, yeah.
He's already beating them up. I mean, what's fat shaming gonna do?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I did also find it kind of humorous that I'm like, is Jackie Chan the bad guy in this game? Because there's guys who are like, leave me alone.
Yeah, and they're like, I want to join you. I want to be on your side.
Yeah.
Very strange.
And Jackie just continues to fucking throw them off a rooftop.
Yeah.
Like, okay, wow, no mercy, Jackie. Like,
just another day in New York City.
I guess so. And then you have these like stereotype voice acting with like the French construction workers and.
Is that a stereotype?
I don't think that's a stereotype, but like the voice acting itself, right? Where it was like
it had a lot of different accents depending on what area you're in. Like in Chinatown and the French port. I don't know where that came from, but
what is up with the Australian underground people? Like the people in the sewers
Down under.
I guess.
That's true.
It's like, what the hell? I don't know.
It was funny though. It was
Yeah.
good.
But Jackie, the voice acting is humorous. I will give it that.
He also likes a lot of milk and ramen. He's a milk and ramen guy.
Milk and ramen. I think those are like the only two pickups, right? There's a takeout. There's a takeout box.
Yeah, takeout box. Yeah, the noodles.
Yeah.
That gave you the most health.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention is that I felt like I wish there was more variety in the stages too. Because a lot of them just seemed kind of dark and drab. The environments didn't look like great.
Yeah, it all takes place at night too, so.
Yeah, it
Like
all takes
one
place at
night.
night, and I don't know. They're just like really standard, stereotypical, like Chinatown, and then the docks, and then the sewers.
There's no good like set pieces.
Yeah,
in any
it's
of
like-
these stages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing that really stands out in particular.
yeah,
Well, the trains stand out. I'll say
trains.
that. Yeah.
yeah. That's about it. Other than that, it's all. It all just kind of looks the same. You know, each world has 3 levels and there's 5 worlds, but they all kind of.
I did like the whole going into like doors in different buildings too. Like
Oh, that puzzle in the rooftops.
That and like in general, just going through doors and like to advance like through the level, like bringing you to different areas and like rooms where you have like more environmentals, like the more environmental hazards, like the buzzsaw.
Yeah.
That was
And there
pretty
was.
cool.
It seemed that there was. Sometimes it seemed like there was like the Sonic the Hedgehog kind of level design where if you take the top route, it's easier, but if you fall down, it's a little tougher. Because it seemed like I could sometimes skip bad guys if I was doing platforming well enough to make it across the top part.
Yeah, and I think in the rooftop level that happens a few times.
Yeah. Which is cool.
You could also, in some sections, you can just like run past enemies and
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
true.
follow you.
Yeah.
I did that quite a few. They would try to follow me, like I'd jump across the roof and they would just fall.
Yeah. Later on in the game, there's a lot of parts where you're gated by the door to the next area won't unlock until you kill all the enemies. So they gate you by doing that, which is fine.
You gotta watch out for the times when you could just run past them.
Yeah, if you can just run past them, you don't get anything extra for killing them, so just keep going. It's whatever. There's no point in it. So yeah. Other than that, you guys got any final thoughts or any favorite parts of this game that we didn't talk about right now?
Not really.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean,
Covered most of it.
yeah.
There's not a lot to say about this game. To be
There's
honest.
not. I think we said it. Really, all there is to say. It's a very, very standard game. It doesn't do anything offensive and offensively bad, but it also doesn't really do anything super great. It doesn't stand out from the pack, from all the other, from other 3D action games, especially at the time. I think it's very standard, generic game that you could play and you could have some fun with, but it's just like when I said in my recommendation, I just can't see myself recommending somebody to play this game. It's just fine. I also wouldn't say don't play Jackie Chan Stuntmaster.
Yeah. I'd just say if you haven't, try it, pretty much.
I mean, if it's sitting in front of you,
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, if you have something else that's better, obviously pick it.
It's never gonna be sitting in front of you. This is 2019.
That's true. That's very true. I don't know. Very weird situation come across where you have Jackie Chan sitting in front of you and
Even if it's sitting in front of you, skip it.
Okay. If it's sitting in front of you, pull out a different console and download
Just
something.
Take a nap.
Well, with all that being said about Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, I think the final judgment on it is going to come when we put this game on the list.
The list.
Follow along with the list in the pastement below. And if you don't know anything about the list, this list keeps going forever. We add a game to it every single week on the regular Jump Up Supercast, and every Game Club game that we play, we throw it on the list. So Noah, you picked a game. So looking at the list, where do you think it belongs?
It's gonna go pretty low. Maybe around the 130s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's start going up. Maybe somewhere between Marco Cree and Nintendo Land.
Yeah, you hit. That's exactly where I was thinking. I was thinking right below Nintendo Land.
That's very respectable.
Yeah.
I would put it below Nintendo Land.
Yeah, I was thinking right below Nintendo Land. Better than 1-2 Switch. Better than One Finger Death Punch. So,
for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubts about that for me. But I think I would put it just under Nintendo Land because I think Nintendo Land is, it's more fun. I think that's a pretty easy spot for me.
Yeah, solid pick.
Well, damn, easy. That's one of the easiest list segments I think we've had in a very long time.
Yeah,
feels good.
It does. So that's gonna put Jackie Chan Stuntmaster at number 134 on the list. And surrounding it is at number 132 we have Marco Cree, which is also a Game Club game. Number 100.
Another beat 'em up too.
Not really.
Well, yeah, I mean it has fighting in it.
It's weird. It's like a stealth
beat 'em up. Yeah.
Fighting that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Fighting you don't want to do. Stealth that you do want to do because it's really good. Yeah. 133 is Nintendo Land. 134 now is Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. 135 is 1-2 Switch. 136 is One Finger Death Punch, which is also a Game Club game.
That's a beat 'em up.
That is a beat 'em up. That's all it is.
And that's all it is.
Literally all it is. If you haven't heard about One Finger Death Punch, you play with one finger, and that's all you're getting out of us. If you want to know more, you got to play or you got to listen to the episode there, or play it yourself. But I don't know if I'd recommend that. I would recommend it if you only play it a little bit at a time.
Yeah, like
do not marathon that game.
Max.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can play it on your phone, like
10
minutes at a time or something.
Yeah, here and there. I would say if you do that, it's pretty. Yeah, we're not. Listen to the episode.
Yeah,
giving away too much. So that's it for the list. But before we go here on the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, got to plug social medias. So give me 1 second. Sorry, hold on. Edit this part out. All right. So if you enjoy the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, make sure you check us out on your favorite podcast listening service of choice, including SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and more, where new episodes of the Game Club will go up every other Thursday, as well as normal Jump Up Supercast episodes every single Monday. Give us a follow, a like, or share. Feel free to let us know what you thought about Jackie Chan Stuntmaster in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to stay up to date on everything Jump Up Supercast related. And you can even catch us streaming from time to time on twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast. Now, as always, I want to thank Noah and Ilse. Thank you guys for joining me. And even more importantly, I want to thank you for listening. And just before we go, I need to pick a game. It's my turn to pick a game for the next Game Club. So this time around, I think I want to play Freedom Planet.
Freedom Planet!
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a Sonic knockoff, right?
It is, yes. It is inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog. Was going to be a fan-made Sonic game, turned into its own thing. It's got a sequel coming out, possibly next year. I don't know if it has a release date, but it's topical.
Interesting.
So, yeah. And I still haven't played this game, always wanted to, so we're going to get around to it now. So join us in 2 weeks when we talk about that game. And as always, go out there, play some video games, and be nice.